Yeah, it's not even a sprinkling. You can see a lot more people starting to arrive. Morning, everyone. Welcome to the big day, the day where the country welcomes back their gladiators, welcomes back their heroes with the World Cup trophy in hand. Just an update on their flight for you if you're trying to plan your day. I see, according to one of the flight tracking apps that we're using at the moment, the flight that they're on at the moment is heading very quickly towards Zanzibar. The original expected time was just before 11 o'clock this morning, 10:55 to be exact. It must be the pilot who's very anxious to get our heroes home. He's obviously put his foot on the accelerator. They're going to be arriving at 21 minutes past 10 this morning. So if you're waiting to see when they're actually going to be touching down and then coming through those doors, they'll be landing 20 minutes after 10. I imagine it'll take a little bit of time to get through customs. Of course, they're bringing a big trophy with them. You have to make sure that's signed through and cleared by customs as well. Vatan Ngobeni going to be joining us as well. We're going to show you what some people are doing in a couple of moments from now as they're getting ready for that. Yes, we've got the flags, we've got the balloons. You see it's beginning to fill up as well. Even if you take a quick look there, that's near the doors where the team's going to be coming through. Some people have decided, no, they're going to make a day of this. They've even bring out their camping chairs to make sure that they get a front row seat for the Springboks as they come through those doors a little bit later. But I'm going to bring Vatan Ngobeni in just a moment. But as I do that, let's just take you back to what was the big expectation from the president addressing the nation last night, a family meeting, if you will. We were all waiting. Was there going to be a public holiday or wasn't there? Well, there is, but it's going to be in December. It's going to be December the 15th, which, if I'm not mistaken, is just before December the 16th, which is also a public holiday. But in case you're wondering if you're going to have today off and you haven't left for work yet because you think it's a public holiday, no, you might be in trouble. Get dressed, make your way down to the airport or get to the office, because it's not a public holiday today yet. It will be the 15th of December. If you missed what the president said, let's take you back to last night.
I want us all to embark on a period of celebration, culminating in a celebratory holiday after our matriculants have finished their exams and the Proteas have done the country proud at the Cricket World Cup. I know that many of us want us to have a public holiday now to celebrate, but we should all agree that we should give our matriculants time to focus on their exams and celebrate with them afterwards. Otherwise, it will disrupt their ability to focus on their most important journey, which is writing a matriculation exams. And this affects close on to 1 million young people. In celebration of the Springboks' momentous achievement and the achievements of all our other sportsmen and women, and as a tribute to the resolve of our united nation, I'm declaring Friday the 15th of December 2023 as a public holiday. We declare this to be a day of hope, a day of celebration and unity. Our sportsmen and women have shown us what is possible. We will succeed, and we will ensure that we leave no one behind.
All right, so that's what the president had to say as far as the public holiday is concerned. So somewhat delayed, if you will, to later in the year. Vatan Ngobeni, eNCA Sports Editor, Head of Sports for the channel as well. And the flight going to be arriving about 20 minutes after 10. I'm trying to imagine who the biggest cheers from all these people, and it's going to fill up even more later. Who is it going to be? Because I would say maybe 4 players come to mind. Never mind Jacques, Ninaba and Rassi, of course. I would say Fafi. I would say Andre Pollard. I would say Cheslin Colby. I would say Sia, of course. I'm not sure who's going to get the biggest cheers.
I think the biggest cheer will undoubtedly Gareth before Sia Kolisi, because he's going to come through here carrying the trophy. And if you remember 4 years ago, he had the trophy and he had his, fist in the air with the trophy. And I mean, again, he's a special player. He's become an iconic figure, not just for South African rugby and South African sport, but he's becoming an iconic figure for South Africa itself. And Andre Pollard will get a massive cheer because it was his kicks that actually won us that World Cup. Mikalak Cheslin Colby, always a fan favorite.
How much did your heart break when he got the yellow card, Cheslin, and he went off. He looked absolutely shattered. My heart broke for him.
He was gutted. He couldn't watch the last 2 minutes of the game. He had his head in his jersey, and he was thinking, could I have given away this World Cup to the All Blacks? But it wasn't about him. That's a wonderful thing. And you saw Sia run up to him again when the final whistle went. Same way as it did, it was deja vu, as it had done in 2019 as well. Just to hug him and say to him, listen.
Who would be your standout player? I mean, it's Sophie's choice. I understand what I'm asking, but if you had to say, Gareth, I'm going to put my backing behind one player for the tournament, who would it be for you?
Peter Steph. I think the shift he put in that final, 28 tackles. I think something like 52 meters. He put in a proper shift. And I remember Jacques Ninaube saying, he's one of those guys who will tackle the whole day, and if there's a piece of plastic going across the field, he'll chase it as well and take that out. So I think the shift he put in, it goes back to actually 2018 when South Africa won for the first time in New Zealand in 9 years, when they beat them in Wellington for the first time. And there he was man of the match as well. He put in a similar amount of tackles as well. So he was man of the match in the final, and to me, I think man of the match in the tournament, or man of the tournament for the Springboks. Another player, Damian Willemse. I think very understated his contribution to this team. I think he's grown in leaps and bounds at number 15, and he's really cemented his place, in the jersey, and just the calmness with which he played. It was he showed maturity way beyond his years. But again, he World Cup winner from 2019 as well. So the experience is there.
And let's talk about that experience, because always so valuable from 2019 to 2023. It's an experience that we lean so heavily on as a team as well. But now we have to start looking ahead to 2027 down under in Australia. We're not going to have all of them with us. We know Jacques Ninaube is moving on as well. Player-wise, who are we losing? We're probably not going to see in the next World Cup.
Dwayne Vermeulen, without a doubt. I think he's played his last test match. He had prepped himself for this. Dion Fourie, at the ripe old age of 38, and he came on and had a blinder as well around the field. Yes, he had lost a few throws, but to come on 3 minutes into a final. He's the oldest Springbok debutant. So at 38, he's not going to be there. I think a guy like Louis Diaga, who missed out on selection due to injury, won't be there. And I can say almost with a certain degree of certainty that our captain Siya Kolisi probably is not going to be there in 2027. And Andre Pollard probably won't be there as well. Villeroux won't be there. So
very different look team.
We're going to be losing a bit of talent. And I think even a guy like Faf won't be there. Kobus Renach might not be there. But, the wonderful thing, Gareth, they've built enough depth over the last 4 years. As much as we're losing a lot of the stalwarts, a lot of the players who've won back-to-back World Cups, there's enough talent that has been groomed and that has come into this team. You look at the likes of Evan Roos, who didn't go to the World Cup, the likes of Thomas Eto'o, the likes of Joseph Dweba. So many players missed out. One can think of Aphiwe Jantjies who's now come back from a 4-year ban. He will be coming to reckoning as well. Aphiwe Lefasi. The names just Hachiva Daimani, the names just keep on, and Eric Lowe, Ruan Nokia. So there is enough players within South African rugby who've had the taste of Test match rugby, who I'm sure will bolster this team going to the next World Cup. And dare I say this, they'll stand up again.
Yeah, they will. Nothing to suggest it can't happen. I just hope next time around, down in Australia, they don't win by 1 point in their last 3 games. I don't think my heart condition can take that. Vatan Ngobeni, head of eNCA Sport, with us as well. So we're just wrapping up what it's going to be looking like, unfortunately. And I suppose it's only natural. You've got players who have got all this experience, but the problem is when you get the experience comes the years as well. But it's going to get handed down. Next time Vata joins me a little bit later, we're going to be talking about the depth of rugby in South Africa. We're going to be talking about the Eastern Cape. Many are saying the hope of black rugby in South Africa, and we've seen how well that province has done. Then you come through the schooling system as well, how important. We always hear about these grassroots programs, and I just get a sense, especially in rugby, you could argue the football, but Bafana for another day, but you could argue that the grassroots rugby programs that are in place is why we had 2019, why we had 23, why you got experts like Vata saying, come 2027, with that depth, we could very well bring it home for a third time. Can you imagine that happening, Tommy, as well? But I want to remind everyone, if you've just joined us, the Springboks going to be landing at around 20 minutes after 10, a little bit earlier, 10:20 this morning. They're still going to make their way through customs. They're going to come through the doors here at Terminal A. It's getting busier. If any chance you can get down to OR Tambo, Terminal A arrivals. But it takes me to our viewer question very quickly this morning. If you're not going to be able to be here and see the Springboks with the cup coming through, this could be your chance to get a message of support. Maybe something you want to say to a specific rugby player, because they're going to come right past us. Vata and I and Morena and Tsako are all going to be there. So go ahead and it's our viewer question this morning. What is your message of support, maybe to the whole team, maybe to a particular player? If you want to get that, and hopefully we can use it on air for you, get over onto X. It's at the South African Morning, or at the SA Morning on X, and on Facebook, it's the South African Morning. Go leave your message there. We'll do our best. We're going to get microphones to the Springbok players, and I'm sure we can pass on your message as well. Between myself, Vatan Ngobeni, and Sako as well, and also Morena Mothupi. Give me a sec. I'm just getting an update on the time here. They're arriving in 3 hours and 7 minutes. They're just heading down towards the Res Salam. So just after 10:20 this morning. Thank you, Vatan Ngobeni. Now he's air traffic control as well. We'll come back to him a little bit later. Tommy, let me come back to you for now.